Hey guys, Matthew here. So this is going to be episode number 3 of the BTB series, or the Back to Basics series, where I teach you guys a ton of different ways to make currency that I've learned over the years. Some of them are going to be like a lot more, hard and currency intensive, but others are going to be super cheap and super simple to do. This is going to be one of the ones that is very, very simple to do. That being said, you're going to have to do a little bit of research for yourself to figure out how to make your filters and whatnot. So as the title suggests, this is going to be an episode about beast crafting, which is probably one of the mechanics that I like the most in Path of Exile, and also one of the ones that are most lucrative, to be honest, for very fast gains. So this is a pair of boots that looks like absolute shit when you look at it, right? I just bought these for 10 chaos. So, when you look at these, they have rarity, which is awful. They have a, hybrid life roll, which is nice, and then some okay movement speed 30, and then some pretty okay resistances. So, if I was to price check these boots right now, going on the website, no, that's not what I meant to do, sorry. If I was to price check these right now, basically, I'd have to look at a pair of boots with 30 movement speed, 20 life, and how much? 70 total resistances. So as you can see, this is a pair of boots that is absolutely horrendous. It's not worth a whole lot. That being said, what we can do by beastcrafting this, we can do a lot. Obviously, it's going to require a little bit of luck, but I'll basically be going over this right away. So, looking at the spare boots, what's really bad on there? Well, it's missing a suffix. So obviously what I could do with these boots is craft like a 20-20 suffix, and then instead of being, a 70 res pair of boots, it would be a 110 resistance pair of boots. So let's see what that would be worth. Already, that would net me a little bit of profit, but who in their right minds would buy a 28 life pair of boots, right? That wouldn't happen. So how do we fix this? Obviously, we need to craft life on there. But we can't because there is 3 prefixes. So, what do we want to do? We want to get rid of the rarity. That being said, there's no way to get rid of the rarity except if you annul it or if you beastcraft it. Yet again, what's even better, these beastcrafts are basically like a free annul, but also an exalt for free, essentially. And so for example, for this beast, I have to remove a prefix since I have 3, and I have 2 suffixes. So I'm going to use add a suffix to remove a random prefix, which is a Ferric Links Alpha. As you can see right here, that is literally a 8 chaos beast. So at the very best, at the very worst, I've invested 18 chaos in gambling this pair of boots away, basically. Now, what can happen when I do this? I'm going to get rid of the life. That's okay. Why is that okay? Well, if I go back to the same exact filter that I was on, and look, instead of having a 20 life pair of boots, I put on a 70 life pair of boots, which I can craft, or 65 to play it, a little bit easier on myself. 30 life, 65 life, 30 movement speed, and 70 res. Then the pair of boots would be worth, 18C, 20C. Essentially, I'd make all my money back, but then no real profit margin right there. Now the thing is, that's basically if I take off either the life or the rarity, which is a 2 in 3 chance, and I get absolutely no good suffix. The thing is, I can get a good suffix as well. I can get resistance as a suffix, but I could also get other things. I could get strength, which would, add some value to the boots, because let's say I get strength, and let's say I get a 45 strength roll, right? Then obviously we're looking at an exalt for the boots, because they'd pretty much look exactly like this, right? They'd have like 80 res or so, not quite 80, we're looking at 70 here, so maybe not an exalt, but maybe like 100 chaos. So not too bad. Now what if we hit another resistance? So let's say we hit a nice little resistance of like 25. So now we're looking at a 95 life pair of boots. We're looking at 70, 80 chaos, 100 chaos, and these sell like candy, by the way. So not bad. Not bad. Once again, we're making profit. Now, where we would really make profit is where if instead of having this crappy 65 life pair of boots, what if we're lucky enough to get rid of the rarity? And then the suffix doesn't even matter. Let's not consider the suffix right away. So we get rid of the rarity and get a random suffix. Worst one possible would probably be stun and block recovery. Then I can craft life on these. I can craft like 70 life on these, right? So then instead of a 28, like a 65 life pair of boots, we'd be looking at a 65 plus 28, which is 93 life pair of boots. All of a sudden, worth an Exalt, 200 Chaos, 1.5x. This is basically kind of looking like our pair of boots, actually, isn't it? 1.5x, 1x, 120c, etc. So that would be pretty good money. Now, the jackpot would be to get rid of the rarity, and then also to get a good suffix, right? So what if I get rid of the prefix, which is rarity, that I don't want? So I'm end up with a 90 life pair of boots. Let's just call it 90, 30 movement speed, and then instead of a 70 total resistance pair of boots, let's just say I get an okay roll. I get a 25 resistance roll. Then we're looking at a 95% resistance pair of boots. Now you're about to have your mind blown because these would be like 4 or 5 exalts. That's a pretty damn, legit pair of boots. So look at these, like 96 life, 33 fire, 41 cold, crafted resistances, nice little 30 movement speed. Boom, right? Easy money is how I'd like to put it. Obviously, that's not going to happen very often. That's like the jackpot result, as you could call it. But then again, is it really that much of a jackpot to hit resistances as a suffix on a pair of boots? Not really. If you go on the PoEDB website, under boots, you can see that there's not a whole lot of things that it can hit. It can hit the resistances, then it could hit strength, which is also good. The bad rolls would be rarity, regen, wouldn't be too great. Nah, it wouldn't really be good at all. And stun and block and reduced attribute requirements. So it's like a 50-50, I want to call it, to hit something pretty decent. So let's just go ahead and do it, and then we'll see what our result is. And basically, I'm not expecting anything because, as I said, this is a little bit of a gamble. But right now, I'm basically doing this. I've spent 18 chaos. Now, the only way I can lose that 18 chaos 100% is if I linked away the movement speed. If I remove the 30% movement speed, which is a 1 in 3 chance, this is the only way that I don't at least make a little bit of profit. So, let's say that I actually did remove that. So, on average, if it's costing me 18 chaos for every pair of boots, and I do this 3 times, on average, it's going to cost me 54C, as I just said though, on average, to hit, any given mod. So basically, every 54 chaos, every 3 pair of boots, one of them is going to die, right? One of them is going to die because I'm going to lose my 18 chaos because I'm going to remove the movement speed, and at that point the boots are completely dead. Now, another of the 3 times, I'm going to remove the life, so I'm going to craft another life instead, and what I'm going to do, instead of losing currency, I'm actually going to make, I think we said about 40C, so minus 40C. Now, another 1 of 3 chance, I'm going to get rid of the bad mod, which in this case is the rarity, and at that point, the boots are going to be worth, what did we say, like 100 chaos or something? So let's remove 100 chaos. So as you can see, on average, every 3 pair of boots, and we're not counting the suffix here, just the prefixes, we make ourselves a nice little 120 chaos. Now, every so often, you're going to get a good suffix as well on top of that, and that's when the big money is going to come in. But obviously, I'm showing you this video with boots, but in Legion, I did this a lot. And I was doing it on boots, on rings, on belts, on wands, on amulets, literally on every possible item, so long as you know what you're looking for, which is like basically kind of what I showed you guys in terms of filters. So when I made the filter to find those boots, I went like 80 life, 55, and then here I did a count search of either empty prefix modifier or empty suffix. So one of them would have to be able to either links or to wolf them. And then I just went through the pair of boots and I found a pretty cheap one. So that's basically it. Now that's for boots. Obviously there's all the other items, and I'm not going to be, once again, feeding you guys information and telling you exactly, oh, use this trading filter, buy these boots and these rings and these this and these that. What I'm here to tell you guys is the concepts and basically how to apply them to make currency. Afterwards, it's your job to go out and figure out which ones are actually going to be worth buying, worth trying out, worth doing, and which ones are absolutely horrendous. So let's see what happened to our pair of boots here. It seems we didn't get a crazy good result, but we also didn't get the worst result possible. The boots didn't die. They didn't die because we kept on the movement speed. So as stated before, if we go back to our calculator, this was an 18C investment total. Now, if I go up and I craft some life on these, now that they have an open prefix, I can craft up to 70 life. So it's 4 alchemies each, so let's just call it 2 chaos every time I hit this. So 57, giving us a 70 life because the strength also gives us life. We can obviously do way better than this. 64, this is in the acceptable realm, but since this is a relatively okay pair of boots, let's just aim for 67 because that would give us a total of 80 life, and those boots would look quite a bit better. 79, obviously. That is at the point where you're kind of wasting currency away, but that's okay. So this took like what, 4 or 5 tries? So at this point we've invested another 10 chaos in this pair of boots. So we're at 28 chaos invested total. Invested total in this pair of boots. Now, how much are they actually worth? Well, let's actually have a look, right? So at this point, this pair of boots has 30% movement speed. Yes. How much life does it have? 80. How much resistance does it have? 70. So, how much would these boots be worth right now if I were to sell them? I can probably sell them for 83 life, 70. Fair to say I can probably sell these for about 50, 60 C, and I invested only 28 C. Let's say I sell them for 55, go middle of the pack. I've made myself a nice little 27 chaos, and I can do this literally within minutes, so long as the supply of good pairs of boots is there. Or I should say bad pair of boots that can be good is there. And like I said, I can do this for amulets, I can do this for gloves, I can do this for literally any item in the game. Then again, you just have to do the proper research. Your best friend is going to be this beautiful website, BTB, where you can learn like all the mods possible and whatnot to hit when you're doing this kind of thing. So in my opinion, beast crafting is probably one of the OPest mechanic in the game because of how I just showed you. There's just most of the time you're not going to lose currency, and then most of the time you're going to make currency, and then some of the time you're going to make a lot of currency. Like if I would have if this pair of boots, instead of doing what it did, it got rid of the rarity, like I said, and we got like a resistance mod, then we were looking at like 5 exalt pair of boots. So gambling away 18 chaos at a chance to get 5 exalts, which is at the current state of league like 1,000 chaos. To me, that's a no-brainer. Obviously, it's pretty damn insane. So that's basically it for this video, for this episode of the BTB series. It's going to be the beast crafting episode number 3. Before I leave, I want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon, Alex, the other Alex, then Dante, Francesco, Val, Jose, and the brand new guy, Vengeance. You guys are all really awesome. I hope you're making a killing with the database and what you have access to. And no matter who you are, if you have any question, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll do my best. I always do my best to answer all of them. And otherwise, that's going to be Matthew signing out. Until the next one. Peace.